Hello friends, my name's James. And this is my 1965 Alberg 30 sloop SV Tritea. I have been slowly sailing solo around the world since leaving Los Angeles in 2021. This is Rhonda, a Kiwi sailor who joined me full-time once I reached Sydney. Join us while we explore Indonesia, see the struggles and the magic that come with sailing in Southeast Asia. From the Spice Islands, to the stilt villages, to Komodo, and beyond. This is Indonesia. Okay, it's time for us to leave this unnamed cay, as we're calling it, because, well, it has no name. Today's passage is going to be very techy, and I've made the satellite like overview chart like I did for our last passage. This one is like pretty complicated. And then again, just like I did last time, I plotted all the waypoints based on the satellite info into Navionics. The Navionics track is absurd, showing us driving over the reefs and stuff, which we knew was way off here, but doesn't make it any less spooky. I mean, well, me and Rhonda were talking about, like, right now we're in the middle of like a massive coral field, but from the surface it looks like this. So, you know, surrounded by dangers that you cannot see, that there's no reference to, is always spooky. And it's not the first time I've driven through these situations. A lot in Fiji, and French Polynesia as well. But it doesn't mean it's any less nerve-wracking. After yesterday, I feel pretty confident about the satellite overlay charts. I'm glad we did a simple one first, as far as like a simple passage. I think this will be no problem, but we're just both going to be like all eyes on deck. Take it slow and hope for the best. I've cross-checked everything today, all the numbers, everything. Yesterday when I did the first draft of the chart and then showed it to Rhonda, she noticed like a shoal that I thought was a cloud on first pass. So then we adjusted that to make sure we went around that. And the way we confirmed that it was a shoal and not a cloud was I switched satellite views between multiple sources. And when you do that, the clouds disappear based on which source you're looking at. So that's how you can tell if it's a cloud or not. So that was a good catch on Rhonda's part. So let's get hauled up and underway. The sort of stressful bit's only 11 miles and our passage today is 40. So in theory, just a couple hours of sort of like tension and paying very, very close attention, and then things should get easier. So we've already seen two bommies that we couldn't really identify on the satellite chart, that we did a good job of missing. And we're coming up to the first kind of techie little bit. Rhonda's forward, keeping an eye out on the color of the sea. And I'm just gonna trust the track.
So I'll give you a look at what we are seeing from here. I'm not sure if it will show up or not, but there's like a bommy that I noticed on the charts when I double checked them for James, that you could only just see. I think he double checked to see if it was a cloud or not. He checked over a couple of maps, but I can clearly see it in front of us where it says it on the map. So it's pretty interesting and pretty cool that you kind of have confirmation that that is what you see. I'm not sure if you'll see it, but I'll try and show you. So just there. And there's loads of these fishing boats out here as well. It's pretty buzzy at night. It's all just lit up, but this one's pretty close. So it's one like mothership and then a bunch of little baby boats, and the guys head out and fish on those, I suppose. And there's that bit of reef just there. There's another one just over like portside as well that we sort of have to do this like kind of sharp zigzags through, dogleg. I can't see that one just yet. I think it might be a little bit further, but also the sun is coming from that direction, so could be a little tricky. Let's see if I can spot it. Your eyes get kind of good at doing this, I suppose. As spooky as it is.
So it seems like we're through the worst of it. We're in a pretty wide, deep channel now, but you can really see the shoals to starboard right now. And it's real spooky because it's much harder to see towards the sun, so you can barely see the faint color change towards the sun. That's why it's best to do like any kind of coral navigation in like no clouds, sun directly above you, you know, or sun behind you. Those are the best options, but that's not always possible when you're having to make passage. And today we have such a distance to cover that if we had waited until we did all this in full sun, then we'd be arriving to our anchorage in the dark. So sometimes you got to balance between what's ideal and what's possible. But I've been very happy with how things are going today. Navigating through, we're getting pretty close to kind of being out of the danger zone. So let's see.
So we are just coming up between two little islands. One looks like it hasn't got really any like anyone living on it, but there's a whole bunch of like a plantation of what looks like pineapple trees or palms maybe. It's pretty interesting. And the other one has quite a high density of population by the looks of it. Well, for a tiny island that is. But we're just cutting the gap. James is having a sleep, and yeah, the swell is quite kind of like mellow but bare in this little section. It's quite interesting. Super nice day. Pretty easy passage. And we are heading to Bonerate. which is just up there. Just up there on the horizon. So should be in about 4 o'clock. And hopefully we'll get some good light with that too. I've seen loads of fishing boats, and I saw my first like boat with nets out. They must have been collecting them though, because they disappeared after a minute. But they had like, it was a boat, and then there was like an orange flag, and then a little while later there was another orange flag. So he must have been out collecting them. So that was really interesting to see. Well marked, but yeah, quite away from us, so not a danger at all or a hazard, but interesting to see these new devices that we're going to be coming up on. Apparently there's a whole lot in future passages that we're going to have to be careful of. So yeah, that's about it. Just continue enjoying this nice ass passage, and hopefully James gets some rest.
Last night was brutal. We had this gnarly swell all night. I put the rocker stopper out. It helped for sure, otherwise we wouldn't have slept at all, but even as it is, we slept in very small increments all night. Each of us kind of taking turns laying out in the cockpit for long periods because it's so hot. And there's like no breeze. There's a slight breeze right now, but yeah, it was pretty brutal. It's funny because like we both consider that last anchorage to be the best anchorage we'd stayed at in Indonesia, and this one is by far the worst anchorage we've stayed at in Indonesia. One nice thing about this anchorage, we didn't hear the call to prayer, so that's good. But the motion has just been brutal. But, well, we won't be here tonight, so that's fine. Now it's time to make coffee and get the day started. We're gonna check out the village here. I guess they build traditional boats here. So we want to peekaboo at that, see if we can get some provisions, and then just kind of get ready for our last little push to Flores, which will be our last open water push for quite a while, which I'm looking forward to just doing like coastal hops, because it's been a lot of sort of big ocean water stuff, big open water stuff. So yeah, time to get the day started. Alright, we're gonna try to head ashore and see if we can see the wooden boats that are being built on the beach, but it's low tide and I'm not sure we can even get ashore in the dinghy. We're gonna do our best and go from there. wonder how many of these get finished.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, this boat's cool. Look at his anchor. We're just talking about the scale of these boats is so insane. It seems like there was like some very serious boat building happening and then it just came to a screeching halt. There's some smaller ones that look like they're actually going to get finished, but most of these look like they stopped construction quite a while ago and they're just kind of sitting and rotting now. But then there's all these small boats that people use every day with these outriggers. I love them, love them. There's like just a, you know, handmade little rudder lashed on with whatever twine they have. A tiller made from a slender piece of bamboo. And they go out and they actually go fishing and they go long distances. We've seen some of these boats kind of far out. I just keep thinking about like what in the Western world we think of that we need as far as a boat goes, like a quality or this or that. Oh, you know, my dinghy's got it's getting a little low, I can't use it anymore. These dudes going serious distances, doing professional fishing in these boats. It's pretty remarkable. Oh, look at that one's Dodger, huh? That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Oh, that's his little motor cover, huh? That is so funny. He painted it like a car. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love these little boats with this like top mounted motor and the little stick for the tiller, and it's just tied on. How cool. It's all just lashed, you know. I gotta show y'all this boat. It's really cool. Good paint job and like interesting details. Check it out. Well, I got the little handle here, which I like. Dolphins. Their rebar anchor. Riska. So check this out. Look at that steering wheel. And it's just got a wood dowel with lines. And they come out here and run aft. Oh, look at that engraving. Run aft through there to the steering, to the little rudder, and here's our props, or one with an empty hole. Such a sick boat. I love those little details, really neat. They just make it work, you know? The rubbish here is also next level. Never seen anything like it. Absolutely wild. If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to contribute, you can consider joining the Patreon crew. Thanks for watching. Fair winds until next time.